There are two very important lessons that we learn from an episode in our parsha, Parshas Vayeshev, in the story of Yehuda and Tamar. Yehuda hears that his daughter-in-law Tamar is pregnant, that she is conceived out of wedlock. And his response is immediately, let her be killed, she deserves the death penalty, Hotzi'ua v'sisaref. And when she's brought out for the death penalty to be administered to her, she says, please just send this. And she's holding something, she's holding a staff with a seal, and she says, please send this to my father-in-law. And tell him that whoever this staff and this seal belongs to is the father of my child. And so they send it to Yehuda, and he sees the staff and the seal, and of course he recognizes it, and he says, Tzadka mimeni. He says, she is right, and I am wrong. And of course spares the life of Tamar, recognizing that he has made an awful mistake by keeping his other child away from Tamar, with the opportunity for her to have children from his family. Yehuda accepts responsibility for his actions. Sometimes in life, it's very difficult for us to accept responsibility for our actions that may be embarrassing to us. But nevertheless, we have to step up and act with courage, because the reality is that for most of us, our actions have consequences that affect other people. And if we do something that affects someone else, then we need to step up and accept responsibility for it. And that's the lesson that we learned from Yehuda about standing up for one's actions. But that's not all. There's another tremendous lesson here, and that's learned from Tamar. Tamar is about to be killed. And she could at that moment stand up and say, please tell my father-in-law it's his fault. He did this in order to save her own life. But instead, she sends a message to him via an illusion. She sends a message to him via this staff and the seal that he left with her, saying to him, Haker, now recognize this. Come to the conclusion yourself, Yehuda, and I hope that you do. But she refuses to directly say, you are the cause, you are the one why this happened, you are the father of the child that I am pregnant with, and I shouldn't be the one who is being killed. And Rashi reveals to us just how far Tamar went in making sure that she didn't embarrass her father-in-law. Lo ratzasa lehalbin panav. She didn't want to embarrass him, velomar, and to say, Mimecha ani mu'beres, I became pregnant from you. Ella, rather, leish asher ele lo, rather to the person whose staff, to the man whose staff and seal this is, that is the man who is the father of my child. And Rashi takes it even further and says that she reasoned to herself an extreme thought, which was, I'd rather not cause him the embarrassment, and I'd rather go through with the death penalty. If he doesn't admit himself, I'd rather him not be embarrassed. As if she was taking her existence, the fact that she could have just been killed, and she was just putting it in the lap of Yehuda, waiting for him to do the right thing. Tamar teaches us a lesson in life, that when we are wronged by someone, that we need to tell them, but we need to do so by still preserving their dignity. And so while Yehuda did indeed acknowledge and accept responsibility for his actions, Tamar refused to embarrass him. She depended on the fact that he was going to do the right thing. And we in our lives, when someone owes us an apology, when someone has hurt us, we need to make sure that they get the message that they need to accept responsibility for their actions. They need to make good on what they did. But at the same time, if it's possible for us to somehow preserve their dignity and not rub it in their faces, not make them feel even worse for their actions, but just accept what they did and make up for it, then that's the lesson which is powerful, that Tamar sends to us, which is not only as equivalent as a lesson as Yehuda, but even a more important lesson. Inevitably in life, there are times that we hurt other people and other people hurt us. How we make up afterwards, how we accept responsibility for our actions, and how we correct damage that was done is so very important. And preserving our own dignity and preserving the dignity of others is a very, very important message that we learn from the Torah in our Parsha, and that's applicable to life on a regular basis. Thank you for listening, and have a good Shabbos.